I'm so happy that you joined me. Welcome to the first of a four-part training series about autoimmunity. My name is Monica Woolridge, and I'll be your host for the next couple of days. I'm a certified integrative nutrition health coach, and I am on a mission to help as many people as possible heal and recover from autoimmunity. So if you've joined this training series, chances are that either you or a loved one has been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Well, I am here to tell you that your disease is not your destiny. You are in control of your health. Thousands of people have healed and recovered from autoimmunity, and so can you. And in this training series, I'm going to show you how. So what to expect from this four-part training series? Well, in the first session, today's session, we're going to look at what autoimmunity is. So many of us bounce from doctor to doctor because no one can figure out what's really wrong with us. Once diagnosed, the doctor will then hand you a bag full of powerful medicine to treat the symptoms without explaining to you what's wrong with you or without explaining to you what autoimmunity is. After today's session, you're going to have a very clear understanding of what autoimmunity is. Then, in session 2, we're going to look at the causes of autoimmunity. What causes disease? Surely, if we know and understand the causes and we address those causes, it should be possible to heal and recover, right? In session 3, perhaps the most important session of the series, we are going to look at ways that you can heal and recover. In the last session, session 4, I'll be sharing powerful tips and tools that you can use in your road to recovery. I will also be giving you additional guidance and support. Thank you so much for joining me. I cannot wait to start this journey with you. If you're ready, let's go. Let's start by asking you a few questions. Are you tired of bouncing from doctor to doctor because nobody can figure out what's really wrong with you? Have you been told that your autoimmune disease is genetic and there is absolutely nothing you can do to prevent or reverse it? Have you been given a handful of powerful medication to treat your symptoms and ease your pain without understanding what caused your condition? Do you feel like you're on an endless journey of frustration, pain, and despair, trying out one powerful drug after the other, while your condition never really goes away, or worst case scenario, gets worse and more painful? Some of you might have done some research on alternative methods of treating autoimmune disease, but you feel overwhelmed by all the information and medical terms, some even contradicting. Perhaps you want to find ways to naturally heal your condition, but you don't know where to start, or it feels like an impossible task to implement all the dietary and lifestyle changes. If you answered yes to any of these questions, this webinar series is absolutely for you. I want you to know that your disease is not necessarily your destiny. You are in control of your health. Thousands of people are living healthy and happy lives despite being diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. If you understand what autoimmunity is, and perhaps more importantly, what causes autoimmunity, surely you should be able to fight or even reverse your disease. Not necessarily by treating your symptoms with powerful medication, but by finding the root cause of your disease and then by taking massive positive action. we continue, I would love to share my story with you. It all started in 2016. At the time, I was stuck in a soul-destroying corporate career. I gave 15 years of my life to an industry I couldn't relate to shareholders who didn't know my name, to bosses who managed me as an expense, and to colleagues who, just like me, forgot that they also had a dream. I worked long, stressful hours in a small cubicle for a large paycheck that could afford me luxuries to make me forget about my dying spirit and lost dreams. I was overworked, overstressed, struggling with my health, and truly lost. I remember thinking that this cannot be it. I was slowly killing myself, but somehow I just couldn't get myself to break free. Little did I know that soon I wouldn't have a choice. On my 39th birthday, more than 15 years after I first walked into the opulent offices of my first corporate job, I was diagnosed with a very rare autoimmune disease. Now, the realization that my immune system was attacking my body for no apparent reason was heartbreaking at best, but looking back, the greatest gift, as it was the push I needed to start my journey of transforming my life. I realized I could not go back to my old life and that I had to make drastic changes. So, what did I do? I started reading. I spent every free minute I had reading up on autoimmunity. I was like a sponge, soaking up every piece of information I could get. I bought all the books I could find, from Amy Myers to Sarah Ballantyne to Mark Hyman. I studied medical journals and scientific research reports. I spent hours on the internet trying to figure out what was happening to me. I was absolutely committed to finding the real cause of my disease and alternative methods of healing and recovery. Little did I know how overwhelming the process would be. I didn't understand the medical terms. I struggled to understand why I'm sick and why so many claim that it's impossible to recover. It felt like there was absolutely nothing I was allowed to eat. The list of food I was allowed to eat was tiny compared to the gigantic list of food I had to remove from my diet. And then, to add to the madness, I learned that some of the food I was allowed to eat were treated with pesticides, herbicides, and all sorts of hormones that I can't even pronounce. I then stumbled upon a book called Detox for Life by Dr. Dan Nazam, and oh boy, was I feeling overwhelmed and lost. I learned that I was surrounded by toxins, toxins that were making me sick. What was I supposed to do? Move to a village in the Amazon forest and live off the land? I was struggling to understand how it was possible to live toxin-free in the real world. It is a fantastic book, by the way. It's all about ways to minimize toxins and maximize the body's ability to heal, and definitely worth a read. At the time, it was just too overwhelming for me. So over time, I slowly started figuring it out. I learned about the impact of food we eat, the environment we live in, and the thoughts we have on our overall health. I learned that thousands of people have healed and recovered from autoimmune disease by making dietary and lifestyle changes. I learned that my genes are not my destiny and that I am in control of my health. So I applied what I learned to my life and I slowly started getting better. For 2 years, I was living my best life ever. I was healthy and happy. I quit my corporate job and started studying at the New York-based Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I'm now a certified integrative nutrition health coach, and I'm living my dream of helping people transform their lives. Then, on the 27th of September 2019, almost 3 years after I was first diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, my dad tragically passed away. It took 3 days for my symptoms to return. I had non-stop diarrhea for months, and I had to start all over again. Yes, it is possible to heal and recover. Yes, it is possible to live a happy and healthy life. But the disease never really goes away. The changes you're going to make needs to be permanent. It's not like a weight loss program where you return to your normal life once you've lost the weight. If you are going to live your best life ever, it needs to be a new way of living. I truly hope that my story inspires you. Please know that your disease is not your destiny and that you are in control of your health. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible to live a happy and healthy life. So the first step of healing is to understand what is wrong with you. What is autoimmunity? Let's have a look. To understand autoimmunity, you have to understand your immune system. The immune system is the body's defense against invaders, viruses, bacteria, and other foreign objects. Through a series of steps called the immune response, your immune system attacks those invaders. Your immune system consists of the innate system and the adaptive system. Let's first look at the innate immune system. Your innate immune system is the first line of defense. It is set up to act quickly and efficiently, but has no memory. It's like the part of a security team that responds immediately before looking at the intelligence files or run background checks on the invaders. Think of your innate immune system as the entry-level security guards. They are quick to respond and fight off invaders without keeping records or developing strategic plans to prevent future attacks. Let's look at an example. Suppose you cut your finger with a dirty knife. The dirty knife is covered in harmful bacteria, and now that you've cut your finger, you've allowed the harmful bacteria to enter your body. Your body desperately needs some form of protection to prevent the harmful bacteria from causing an infection. This is where the innate immune system comes to the rescue. It sends out a team of killer chemicals to the site of the cut. This creates acute inflammation. Now, acute simply means a severe and intense reaction that goes away once the infection is gone. Inflammation is your innate immune system's primary weapon of defense and attempts to heal the infection. The inflammation is uncomfortable and involves redness, swelling, heat, and pain. So you might wonder, where does the redness, swelling, heat, and pain come from? Well, the redness is caused by the blood cells rushing to the infection site carrying killer chemicals with them. The extra blood cells beneath the surface of your skin cause it to turn red. The swelling is caused by fluids flowing to the infection site. These fluids either bring more killer chemicals or carry away the dead cells. The extra fluids cause the infection site to swell. Heat is caused by the warm blood. And you've guessed it, extra blood generates extra heat. The killer chemicals stimulate your nerve endings, resulting in pain. And pain is also your immune system's way of letting your body know that it has been attacked and that it needs help. Now that we know how the innate immune system works, let's look at your adaptive immune system. Your adaptive immune system is the slower and smarter line of defense. It takes a little longer to kick into action, as it first needs to assess the situation, identify possible return offenders, and come up with a plan of action. It identifies threats and develops a permanent protection against them. Think of your adaptive immune system as your security team's special forces. Open wounds are the job of the innate immune system, and diseases like measles are the job of the adaptive immune system. Once you've had measles, you don't have to worry about it again, as your adaptive immune system figured out how to eliminate the virus if it ever tries to invade your body again. Your adaptive immune system, or in other words, your security team's special forces, learn to recognize particular threats and develop antibodies in response. Now, antibodies are large, Y-shaped proteins that identify invaders and trigger inflammation to destroy that invader. Think of your antibodies as part of your security team's special forces. Your adaptive immune system studies a particular threat and then come up with a protection plan designed to target only that one threat. The protection plan involves mobilizing immune cells to create inflammation that will in turn destroy the invader. This reaction is targeted and invader-specific. The inflammation only flares up when the antibody recognizes and detects that specific invader. Although each antibody is targeted to a specific invader, antibodies can get confused and target new threats that look like the specific invader. So it brings us back to the question, what is autoimmunity? Autoimmunity happens when your immune system can no longer tell self from non-self. Your immune system sees your own cells as invaders and trigger an immune response to attack those cells. Autoimmune diseases all look different, but have one thing in common, an immune system that attacks your own cells. For some, the thyroid is under attack. For others, the intestines, the skin, the brain, and many other organs. No matter what part of your body is under attack, the problem does not necessarily lie with that part of the body, but rather with the immune system. Autoimmune disease is therefore a disease of the immune system. To fully understand autoimmunity, we have to discuss inflammation. So there are two types of inflammation: acute inflammation and chronic inflammation. Let's start with acute inflammation. Acute inflammation is often severe and usually occurs for a short duration. It often resolves in 2 weeks or less, and symptoms appear quickly. This type restores your body to its state before injury or illness. Chronic inflammation is a slower and generally less severe form of inflammation. It typically lasts longer than 6 weeks. It can occur even when there's no injury, and it doesn't always end when the illness or injury is healed. Chronic inflammation is one of the greatest health risks of our times. It is the underlying cause of almost every type of disease, from eczema to cardiovascular disease. Chronic inflammation plays a huge role in autoimmune conditions. As you know by now, inflammation is caused by your immune system in response to a specific threat. The purpose of inflammation is to eliminate the threat and then to return back to normal when the threat is gone. But when your body is exposed to one threat after the other, or the threat never completely disappears, your immune system remains on permanent alert and inflammation becomes chronic. When inflammation becomes chronic, your immune system becomes like an overworked and overstressed security team, and they are likely to make all sorts of mistakes, like attacking your own healthy cells. So, by lowering or preventing chronic inflammation, your immune system will stop being on high alert. It will stop attacking invaders and your own cells and return to normal calm state. You can therefore heal and recover by reducing, eliminating, and preventing chronic inflammation. So before we end today's session, I want to quickly talk about conventional medicine. Almost all functional medicine physicians that specialize in autoimmune disease will tell you that conventional medicine is not a long-term solution for autoimmune conditions. Think Dr. Amy Myers, Dr. Sarah Ballantyne, Dr. Mark Hyman, they all agree. Conventional medicine is not a long-term solution for autoimmune conditions. Some estimate that people see an average of 6 doctors over a period of 4 years before they get diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. You might start out bouncing from doctor to doctor because nobody can figure out what's wrong with you. But one of the problems is that conventional medicine consists of different specialities. You are referred to a specialist who focuses on that part of the body or system that is attacked. You will see a gastroenterologist for celiac disease, Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis. You will see an endocrinologist for Hashimoto's disease. You'll see a rheumatologist for rheumatoid arthritis, and so on. An immune system specialist simply does not exist. To make matters worse, some people have 2 or more autoimmune conditions and are likely to see 2, 3, or even 4 different specialists. Once you've been diagnosed, the specialist will probably hand you a bag full of powerful medication to treat the symptoms. And then some of them might tell you that you cannot heal and recover from autoimmune disease. The only way to treat autoimmunity is with powerful medicine. You will have to make peace with the side effects of the medication. Some might say that diet does not matter, what you eat won't make a difference. Some might not even have that discussion with you. Others might say that going gluten-free is a fad diet and won't make a difference. And lastly, autoimmune disease is genetic, and unfortunately your genes are your destiny. We cannot only look at our symptoms and then take powerful medication to treat those symptoms. Yes, there's a time and a place for medicine, but if you only take medicine and not address the cause, it's like stepping on a piece of glass and using pain medication to numb the pain without removing the piece of glass. By simply removing the piece of glass, your foot will heal. You owe it to yourself to find the root cause of your disease and take massive, positive action to do whatever you have to do to heal and recover. So the intention of today's session was to give you a clear understanding of what autoimmunity is. I truly hope I've answered the question for you. In the next session, we're going to look at the causes of autoimmunity. If you know and understand the causes of your disease, surely it should be possible to heal and recover if you address those causes. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Please feel free to connect with us on social media or email, and keep an eye open on your inbox for session 2. Bye guys.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories and the memories